Hello, Max here and welcome back to Max Talks, where every Sunday I make videos to help you get to where you want to be and to succeed. Today I'm here to speak to you about interviews and teach you the 7 things that you must know before you go for your job interview. These are tools, tips and techniques that I picked out along my way, having been an interviewee as well as an interviewer. Stick around to the end of the video to find out about the STARL technique, which is a technique I've developed to help you answer any question that you'll face in a job interview with ease. So, tip number 1, do your research. Make sure that you know detailed information about the company that you're applying for. Doing a quick Google search can sort this out nice and easy for you. You want to be able to answer any questions that you might get about the company. This is really important, and to illustrate that, I will give you an example. I went to an interview once where I was asked the share price of a company and I didn't know, so as you do, I made it up on the spot. And needless to say, it didn't go down well because I didn't know much about share prices, so make sure that you don't fall into that trap and do your research. Just a basic outline of who the company is, the company name, although I would hope that you'd know that by the time you've got an interview, maybe the founder, the dates, its competitors, the industry that it's in, and another resource you can use is searching through the company's social media. This will give you an idea of current projects that the company might be working towards, if they have social media. Not all companies do, but if they do, definitely use that as a resource. Another great site that you can use is Glassdoor. You can get information on here about previous interview questions from people who have done interviews there before. You can also get reviews from employees who currently work there. Tip number 2, sell yourself. As a society, we have a tendency to be shy or timid or not brag about the things that we're good at. But the job interview is your time to shine. It's your opportunity to showcase all the great things that you have and why they are essential for the employer to pick for you. So make sure that you mention all of them, be confident, be yourself, and mention all those skills without repeating yourself too much if you can. This leads me on to tip number 3, which is preparation. Humans learn through repetition, and so what better way to make yourself stand out than to practice your interviews. This can be with family and friends if you find that easy, or if you find that too tricky, practice with yourself in the mirror. The important thing is that you get some experience on what it will actually be like on the day. If you've not done an interview before, it can be daunting, and the only way to really get over that fear is to practice with yourself or to practice with another person to emulate that feeling on the day. When I say practicing, I mean practicing your answers to these questions. So emulating the scenario, but also practicing those answers that you would give in terms of like your body language, your facial expressions, your intonation, all those other things that will make your answers not sound like robotic or anything like that. And if you've never done an interview before, or if you don't know what sort of questions are normally asked, I'll put a graphic on screen here of some of the most commonly asked interview questions, which might help you if you want to practice. While these are up on the screen, let me know if you want a separate video answering any of these particular questions by leaving a comment below with what questions that you want answering. And also at this point, if you are enjoying, leave a like rating and subscribe if you want more content every Sunday. A lot of these questions will be competency based, so they will revolve around tell me about a time when you did XYZ, or tell me about a time that you developed a certain skill that the company is looking for. Tip number 4 then is ensure that you have a copy of your CV. Sometimes the interviewer will ask you to speak through your CV, or will even pick out little areas from your CV. So it's important not only that you bring one with you for reference, but also that you have a good knowledge and understanding of what the things that you've put on there. And most importantly, don't lie on your CV because you will probably get found out. Hopefully your CV is tailored towards the job description and person specification for this employer. If it's not, I've already made a video on how to do that, which you can check out up there. This is really important when it comes down to the interview because it will showcase where you're strong and where you meet their requirements, but also the areas that you need to develop basically to reach what they're after. And this is one of the common questions that gets asked is what are your weaknesses? And being able to identify those yourself means that you can turn your weakness into a development point and something that you're working on. This is a proactive, positive approach that employers will look for in the interview. Tip number 5, first impressions count. There's loads of research out there, but the majority of it agrees that a first impression is made within 1 to 6 seconds. This might seem like a really short time frame, but it can be the difference between you having an okay interview and smashing your interview out of the park. To make a good first impression, it's really straightforward. All you have to do is have eye contact, a nice smile, a firm handshake, obviously though not now because social distancing is very important, guys, and then also like a confident greeting. And if you have all of that in the first 5 to 6 seconds, you will be absolutely fine. Tip number 6 then, and this is my biggest tip for the video, which I alluded to earlier. This is the STARL technique. You may have heard of the STAR technique, which stands for Situation, Task, Action, Response, but I add an L on the end, which stands for Link and Learning, because this takes your answer to the next level. So it's basically a guide on how you should answer every single question to an interview, where you're asked to outline an experience, and to explain it, I'm going to go through an example now. Let's say you wanted to do the STARL technique for a group presentation where you got 80%. The situation: I was part of a group presentation during my time at school, college, university. The task: we had to do a presentation on digital marketing for one of my modules. The action: this is what you did. I took the lead and assigned group members their roles in the group since I had a lot of previous experience and understanding in digital marketing. I was responsible for laying out the timescales of the workload and ensuring that all tasks were completed on time and to our set deadlines. I also arranged numerous team meetings to discuss our current progress across the different parts of the presentation and also to practice and rehearse before we presented it. The response: as a result of my actions, my team and I felt confident in our delivery of the presentation on the day, and we presented the content without any slip-ups and received great praise from the audience. We were graded 80% in the presentation as a result. This is my additional step: learning. I learned that to succeed in doing any form of group project, that you need great teamwork and good leadership as well as clear deadlines. My organisation through the presentation was key to attaining our grade, but if I was to do it again, I would have practiced more so it ran even smoother. I hope to be able to use this knowledge to undertake future group work and presentations if I were to be successful for this role. So the reason why that L is so important is because it goes beyond just the situation, but it also shows self-evaluation, reflection, but you're also thinking about how it might apply in the role that you're interviewing for. And that shows to the employer that you're really keen, which is great. So the final thing, number 7, that you have to know before you go to an interview is remember that this is your chance to interview the employer as well. Ask questions. Quite often an interview, they will end the interview by saying, "Do you have any questions for me?" This is really important because if you have a question or two prepared, it shows that you're engaged and that you're interested and you want to find out more, but also it gives you more information about the role. If you're unclear about anything. With these questions though, please make sure that they're relevant and professional and not things that you could find by searching on the internet. Also make it sure that it's not kind of, when are my lunch breaks? When are my holidays? How many holidays do I get per year? My personal favourite question is, what's the organisational culture like here? This gives you an indication of the type of workplace that you're going for, whether it's more sociable, whether it's just kind of turn up and get your work done. You'll be able to find out a bit more on whether you think that you'd fit in with that place from asking that question. Another question that you could ask is, what development opportunities are there? And again, that will show that you're thinking ahead to the future and committing, which is a really important question to ask. But don't necessarily just ask what I've said. You can make whatever questions that you want and make it your own so that you find out what's important for you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you found today's video useful and that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to give it a like rating, subscribe below for new content every Sunday. turn the bell on for notifications every time that I post, and comment below if you have any additional questions or if you want a part 2 on interviews. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.